Day, ladies and gentlemen, little sisters and brothers, behold, beyond a shadow of a doubt, proof modern day Greeks are not only clones, they are probably the newest batch upon the face of the earth to date. To prove this, let's start with a timeline tidbit to set the tone. According to Wikipedia, under Greek Dark Ages, subtitle Society. Quote, it is likely that Greece during this period, which period? The Greek Dark Ages. It is likely that Greece during this period was divided into independent regions organized by kingship groups and the oikoi, or households, the origins of the later cities. Stop. Bingo. Just like all of their historians attest, the Greeks were multiracial clones from a centralized factory who were all mixed up together on certain islands, mixing their languages, etc., until the desired outcome was manifested. Basically, after the Rhodanians got the mixture percentages they wanted, they cloned them to distribute them. First, to repopulate the islands of the original Gentiles who had just been killed off, and then to, as Wikipedia under History of Greece attests, quote, at its cultural and geographical peak, Greek civilization spread from Greece to Egypt and to the Hindu Kush Mountains in Afghanistan. Since then, Greek minorities have remained in former Greek territories: Turkey, Albania, Italy, Libya, Levant, Armenia, Georgia, and Greek immigrants have assimilated into differing societies across the globe: North America, Australia, North Europe, South Africa. Stop. Bingo. Just like our scripture, whole world and wheat and tear understanding attest. But let's continue for more clues. Quote, excavations of Dark Age communities such as Nicosia, Nichoria, so this is not just this one, but it's such as this one. So there's other communities also, but they're talking about this one specifically. Listen, in the Peloponnese have shown how a Bronze Age town was abandoned in 1150 BC, but then reemerged as a small village cluster by 1075. Let me read that again. Now again, understand, they're just talking about this one, but listen to what it says. It's communities with an S, it's plural. Listen to this. Excavations of Dark Age communities such as Nichoria in the Peloponnese have shown how a Bronze Age town was abandoned in 1150 BC, but then reemerged as a small village cluster by 1075 BC. Example, bingo. That's a 75-year gap, people. So as you can plainly see, just like I said, once the Rhodanians got the desired mixture percentage to create all the different Greek cultures on the islands of Crete, etc., and because the new and fresh people didn't know their left hand from their right, the evildoers overlapped history so the new creation can start with infrastructure already established. Once you let all of that sink in and then realize how many times the Greek islands were occupied by foreign dynasties, like the Roman Empire that lasted for 470 years, the Byzantine Empire that lasted for 1,129 years, and the Ottoman Empire that lasted for 368 years. Once a chosen, not a called, but a chosen, has gotten a chance to perceive all of that, articles of information that confound the wise like this should make perfect sense to you. Check it out. According to Vetted Science magazine, under the Greeks really do have near mythical origins, ancient DNA reveals. August 2nd, 2017. Cutting to the chase. Quote, although these Mycenaeans were fictitious, scholars have debated whether today's Greeks descend from the actual Mycenaeans who created a famous civilization that dominated mainland Greece and the Aegean Sea from about 1600 BCE to 1200 BCE, or whether the ancient Mycenaeans simply vanished from the region. Stop. Perceptual context for the chosen. Thank goodness you look at the world through the scriptures. Now, listen to these cats try and make sense of a genetically impossible reality. Let me say that again. A genetically impossible reality if you looked upon with conventional eyes. Take a look at what they try to say. Let's continue, please. Oh yeah, here is where our Moab preservation, etc. understanding comes in. Quote, now ancient DNA suggests that living Greeks are indeed the descendants of Mycenaeans with only a small proportion of DNA from latter migrations to Greece. Stop. Genetically impossible, but scripturally sound. Bingo! Our enemies are so dumbfounded, they want a chosen to believe. A chosen mind you, that the Dorian invasion domination and subsequent using of the Helot women, a combined 1,967 years of foreign occupation from 3 sex slave happy dynasties and 2 Persian invasion with the occupation of their Macedonian vassals, they want a chosen mind. No, hold on now. Wait a minute. You do understand, the Persians instituted the same amalgamation of the elites program that all the ancient nations had implemented. They want a chosen mind to believe all of this movement contributed, quote, only a small proportion of DNA from later migrations to Greece? No! What we see before us today are replicas from preserved people. Thus, why they have a strong genetic connection to the original source. And looking at the timeline and concentration of the origin source, this tells me this batch is brand spanking new. Yep, hot off the assembly line presses. And seeing they use conflict to introduce new upgraded models, would this be? Could this be the real reason for the Greek riots back in 2008? It's just an observation. I don't mean nothing by it. But let's continue with the article for more clues, since you don't believe me. Oh yeah, here is the part where our hidden switches understanding comes in. I'm going to let the beat rock so you can perceive how wow this is. Quote, and the Mycenaeans themselves were closely related to the earlier Minoans, the studies reveal. Another great civilization that flourished on the island of Crete from 2600 BCE to 1400 BCE. Bingo. Quote, the ancient Mycenaeans and Minoans were most closely related to each other, and they both got 3/4 of their DNA from early farmers who lived in Greece and southwestern Anatolia, which is now part of Turkey. The team reports today in Nature. Both cultures additionally inherited DNA from peoples from the Eastern Caucasus near modern-day Iran. What the hell they come from? Okay, Persians. Okay, I got the Persians. Okay, suggesting an early migrations of people from the east after early farmers settled there, but before the Mycenaeans split from the Minoans. Nope, that's not talking about the Persians then. No, that's way before them. No, I just saw that, but they really telling on themselves now. Yeah, how the hell that happened? I know how it happened. It's a recipe. Let's continue. The Mycenaeans did have an important difference. Listen to this. They had some DNA, 4% to 16%, from northern ancestors who came from Eastern Europe or Siberia. This suggests that a second wave of people from the Eurasian steppe came to mainland Greece by the way of Eastern Europe or Armenia, but didn't reach Crete, says the person who did this thing, a population geneticist at Harvard University who co-led the study. Stop. Bingo. The information with the percentages given don't suggest migration whatsoever, people. The information with the percentages suggests different recipes on cloning humans. In essence, to make a Mayan, add a dollop of Siberia. To make a Mycenaean, add a smidgen of Caucasus. Mind you now, these are two totally different nations that spoke two totally different languages with only 200 years of overlapping coexistence, and they looked exactly alike. Yep, clones. And before you call me a liar, I know you want to call me a liar. I know you want to call me a liar. But before you do that, let's continue, please.